What happened that night forever changed what we thought was possible in sports.
It was the type of thing you wouldn't see in today's game, but that era was like the Wild West.
You know, it was 25 years ago, and I'm honestly just ready to put it behind me.
It was Sunday, January 17th, 1993. My dad got us floor seats to see the Chicago Bulls take on the Utah Jazz. And right from the tip-off, we could tell this game was gonna be different.
First of all, the ball was not regulation. I mean, it was way too bouncy and maybe a little too big.
I actually became concerned because you only had 2 players from either team bother to play. You had Karl Malone and John Stockton from the Utah Jazz versus Scottie Pippen and, wait for it, y'all, Horace Grant? Like, not even Michael Jordan. Keep in mind, the whole team was there, they just never left the bench.
Then John Stockton takes off from the free throw line with Horace on his back and dunks in Scottie's face.
We didn't even know John Stockton could dunk. He's a layup guy. But here he is practically touching the rafters.
If you look back at the tape, you can see the shock on my face. I was seriously like, you know, like, it was crazy.
At this point, I was already saying to myself, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And that's when I noticed their heads must have swollen 3 sizes.
So big-headed Scottie Pippen is tearing down the court like he's in turbo mode, and just as he pulls up for 3, Stockton throws this wild elbow, sending Scottie flying across the court.
The rest were atrocious.
I mean, there was only one ref there to begin with. And after the jump ball, he literally disappeared.
I mean, I might have missed a few calls here or there, but ultimately, it's not the refs who decide the outcome of the game. The players do that.
It was a bloodbath. The Jazz were taking shots fully across court that were going in.
Then, in the third quarter, to this day, I can't explain it. It was like the whole world just paused until immediately after school the next day.
The game paused for almost 24 hours.
But no one in the stadium left. We were so invested in the game that we didn't move an inch for an entire day.
And up until this point, it was a complete shutout. The Jazz held the Bulls scoreless for 3 quarters. That type of game, you leave early to beat traffic. But not this crowd. I mean, it was a crazy time for sports as a whole. We had just seen John Madden call the highest scoring game in NFL history.
Hell, we had watched 8-foot Mike Tyson lose his dream fight to a kid way below his weight class.
And when the game started up again, the crowd was as enthused as ever.
It was the only time I've seen a crowd cheer just as much for their home team as they did for the rival.
At this point, the Jazz had hit their last 80 shots, but then the craziest thing happened. Scottie Pippen caught on fire!
He's heating up.
When that game ended, that was the first and only instance I can recall where neither team took a timeout and neither team ran an actual play. Every possession was either a steal or just a quick drive to the basket.
The vibe afterwards was mostly disappointment, but also proud to have witnessed something special.
You know, now that I'm thinking of it, there was hardly any black people there.
Hi, I'm Raphael. And if you like that video, subscribe to Dropout, where you can chat with the cast in the exclusive Dropout Discord. And that is a Chestang promise, which is almost as good as a real promise.